What's up, guys? Today is going to be part of my Kirby matchup chart. Now, before you skip to the end just to look at the results, which is usually what I do when I see matchup charts, I do need to explain a couple things. So this matchup chart is going to be very different than most matchup charts because I'm going to be doing this based on two players with equal results, not two players with equal matchup experience and skill level. So you might not think that that's too big of a difference, but for low tier, that is absolutely huge. And before I begin, I want to talk quickly about a collaboration that I've been working with and I'm super excited about. I have recently partnered with Pro Guides who just launched a Smash Ultimate division that you can go and watch right now. They have an entire course they film with Zero himself, and I'm working with them on creating some short character guides as well. They'll also be launching a custom 24/7 coaching program. Now, I got to watch the Zero course before it was released, and it will definitely be helpful for anyone trying to improve their game. It's free to start off with, no trial or credit card needed, and if you find the free guides helpful, you can also upgrade to Pro to see all of the guides if you're very serious about improving. You can visit their site at proguides.com/juggle, link to that is in the description. So when you see a matchup chart, especially by pro players with their top tier characters and everything, what ends up happening is they end up looking just like a normal tier list, because characters that are bad do bad in general. So if you look at almost any pro player's chart, they're going to have Kirby as a -2 or -1, usually -2 against their character. So you might think, oh, well, Kirby just sucks against everyone, and then not think anything of it. But the problem with that is it already is factoring in that Kirby itself is a bad character. And we already know that. We don't need to see a matchup chart that also includes that. So what I'm going to be doing is a chart that is based on the fact that I'm ignoring their spot in the tier list and then factoring that in. So here's a quick example. In early Smash 4, Sheik was one of the best characters in the game, and Kirby was one of the worst characters in the game. Not like the worst character, but like bottom 10, bottom 15 for most of the game. So the thing was, when Kirby played against the Sheik, the matchup was pretty even. Kirby had so many things going in Kirby's favor that the matchup ended up being pretty even. Now, if you look at a matchup chart, you'll see that it's even, go, okay, whatever. It's an even matchup, but like, you're playing a low tier. But the thing is, that's two people who have similar experience in the matchup, and odds are the Kirby player is going to be more experienced in the Kirby-Sheik matchup than a Sheik is going to be in Sheik-Kirby. So for a quick example, if you have a guy who's ranked 4th in the region with Sheik, and a guy who's ranked 5th in the region with Kirby, if you look at the matchup chart, you might say, oh, it's even, so it's probably going to win about 50% of the time for each of them. But the thing is, since Kirby does well in the matchup comparatively to his spot in the tier list, the Kirby player is probably going to win more of those games. So if you looked at a normal matchup chart, it wouldn't tell you that. But what I'm going to be doing is a equal results-based tier list, which factors in the fact that odds are if you're playing a low tier, you're going to have more matchup experience against top tier than they have against you. And I'm also factoring in the fact that you're playing a low tier, so if you're getting similar results to someone playing a high tier, you're going to be better than them. You might be wondering, okay, so where am I going to see a results-based tier list outside of like power rankings? Well, you may notice that when you're playing online in Elite Smash or just quick play in general, you're paired against people not with similar skill level, but similar results to you. So if you play against a person who has a higher GSP than you, but they're spamming the same moves, all that says is they get better results than you. It doesn't mean they're a better player necessarily. I mean, they might be, but so in theory, what this results-based tier list is showing is when I match with a dude in quick play on Elite Smash or whatever, my odds of beating them. I hope that makes sense. Now, this is all with my opinion and my play style. If you get different results, maybe you play a little bit differently. So, like, my opinion's not wrong on stuff. It's just what I have encountered and what I've experienced in my time playing. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to be going from top tiers to bottom tiers. So I'm probably just going to be getting through some of the top tiers and maybe some of the high tiers as well. So I'm just going to be going off of this thing from Reddit, which is basically a compilation of all of the pros tier lists. It's not perfect, but it should just get the job done. I'll leave the list in the description so you can kind of follow along. But basically, I'm just going to be going from top to bottom. And I'm going to try and show some videos in the top right corner for you guys to watch, just so you can have something else going on in the video when I can. I don't have videos against everyone in the game. So to start off, we're going to be talking about Peach and Daisy. Now keep in mind that basically for the top tiers, move everyone down about 2 spots, and that's where they'd be at in a normal matchup chart. So Peach and Daisy, I'm actually going to put at +1. Now, I don't think Kirby wins this matchup, like I explained earlier. I think that Kirby has a lot of tools and does comparatively well to their spots on the tier list in this matchup. So, like I said, if someone is ranked 5th in your region with Peach and you're ranked 4th in your region with Kirby, you're probably actually going to have the advantage against them, not them against you. So normal matchup chart would probably put it at -1 or -2 for Kirby, but I'm actually putting it at +1, saying that you would have the advantage if you guys are getting similar results. Why I think that? Kirby has a lot of things going for him in the matchup, basically anti-airing them. Up tilt and up smash are incredibly good because they actually have disjoints, believe it or not, on them. They're tiny little disjoints, but they are disjointed moves. So they will beat out Peach's down air, Peach's neutral air, and when Peach is just floating above you, you can very easily just throw out up tilts, up smashes every now and then when you're trying to get the kill. And you can also duck under the down air and everything. You don't want to be shielding a lot of their things because everything they have is so safe on shield, but it actually is a pretty good matchup. So I actually played Samsora at Frostbite, and I did okay against him. It didn't feel like I was too held back by Kirby. It just felt like he's the better player. I mean, I brought it to final stock that first game. Second game was a little bit less close. But if you have 2 even level players, Kirby is probably going to be beating the Peach more times than the Peach is beating the Kirby. So it's actually not that bad of a matchup. So keep going with the list. We have Pichu. Now, like I mentioned in the example with Pichu, Kirby does really well against Pichu. So I'm not exactly sure what it is, but Kirby just does well in this matchup. It's nice to play against someone who's actually lighter than you. A lot of other characters have trouble hitting Pichu, but Pichu has trouble hitting Kirby. Just as much as Kirby has trouble hitting Pichu. Kirby also maybe not has more kill power, but they have about similar kill power. The only thing that keeps it from being, like, actually winning for Kirby normally would be up throw thunder. That Kirby's airspeed is not good enough to really avoid that very well, so there's a lot of percents that that's going to hit. But other than that, Kirby actually does a decent job in this matchup. Kirby's forward tilt is sort of just like Pichu's forward tilt light. It's also a little bit bigger, a little more disjointed. You can use up tilt and down tilt really well in this matchup. If you get a down tilt trip at like 50 or 60, if you're close to the ledge, that's a free forward smash and that's a kill. So Kirby does really well comparatively in this matchup, which is why I have, like I said, I think I have like an 18-20 game winning streak online against Pichu's. I don't think I've actually lost to a Pichu since like the week of the game coming out. Next up, we have Wolf. Now, Wolf, kind of like Peach and Daisy, is actually not that bad for Kirby. This actually might be close to an even matchup normally. So basically, Kirby can edge guard Wolf really well. Kirby's down smash is just such an easy way of getting his recovery. Now, you do have to worry about him mixing up his timing when he gets back, or else you're kind of vulnerable. But Kirby just does really well. He can combo him decently hard. He can duck under the blaster. He just has a lot of things going for him in this matchup, and it actually never feels too bad. You can get juggled very easily, so Kirby definitely wants to stay grounded for the most part. But really, it's pretty good. You're at risk of dying very early to down smash, and a lot of different move forward tilt, again, is really good against Kirby. But really, a lot of short hop aerials using your tilts, and you're actually probably going to do pretty well in this matchup. I've seen Komoda and RK play this matchup super well, and they make it almost look winning for Kirby. So this is going to be +1, probably almost a +2, but we're going to keep it at +1 because Pichu definitely has way bigger of an advantage compared. Then we have Olimar. Now, Olimar is such a weird one because of Pluck Gliding. Now, if you haven't seen Pluck Gliding, basically when Kirby has Olimar's ability, he becomes like the best character in the game. So It's so hard to rate this matchup because when you don't have the ability, it's horrible. Like, it's -1 comparatively, but when you do have the power, it's like +2. So I'm not going to put it at +2. I'm almost fearful of putting it +1, but we'll put it +1 just because of how good Pluck Gliding is. Now, normally, it's -1, maybe even close to -2, but because of Pluck Gliding, we're going to put it at +1 because Kirby can do well if Kirby gets the power. It's kind of a lower +1. Like, I'd definitely rather play a Wolf than I would play an Olimar, but it's still, Kirby, as you can see, does pretty well against a lot of top tiers. Comparatively, not winning. These are not winning matchups for Kirby. They're just good compared to how they are on the tier list. I know I'm saying that a lot, but I really just want to get it through your head. So next up we have Fox. Again, another matchup that is pretty good for Kirby. Now, in Smash 4, it was a lot better of a matchup. I loved you could take 0 to 70 on Fox. Now you can't do that as easily. I mean, you've got some stuff to rack up a lot of %, but it's not as broken as it was in Smash 4. Up tilts don't chain together as well. But it's still pretty good, just because of how well you can mess with his recovery. I mean, you do get juggled by him with up air. Nair to up smash is really scary. So we're going to put it at +1. It's not like a super solid +1 like it probably would have been in Smash 4, but it's still pretty solid. Kirby actually, against all of these characters, does better than expected. Like I said, does not win, but does better than expected against a lot of these. Now we have Lucina. Now this is finally where we start to get in the negatives. Now, it's probably not, it's between 0 and -1. It's not too bad, but Kirby against sword characters in general just aren't good. If the sword character just kind of wants to camp out Kirby, just throw out some safe forward airs, forward tilts, up tilts, they just kind of beat a lot of Kirby's approaches. Kirby's disjoints just can't match how big a sword is. And it's almost as simple as that. I mean, you can get in. Once you get in, it's not too bad. But really, for the most part, Kirby doesn't do well against sword characters. There are some exceptions, and I'll go over them. But for now, I'm just going to leave Lucina there. Now we have Snake. Now, it's weird because when I play Snakes, I don't do that bad. But a lot of times it feels like I'm outplaying them so much that if they were playing well, I'd be getting absolutely destroyed. I'm actually going to put this at -2. Even though I don't feel it might not be that bad from what I've played. I think in theory, if I were to ever play a like top level Snake, I would get absolutely demolished. Like, if I was playing a top level Peach, I mean, I've played Samsora and I didn't do that badly. It didn't feel horrible. But if I were playing like MVD or Ally Snake, I would get absolutely demolished, maybe 3-stocked. So, I think it's absolutely a horrible matchup. Snake can camp you. It's as simple as that. I mean, Snake camps out every character in the game, but can do it against Kirby better than almost anyone else. So, this is not only a bad matchup, but it's bad compared to their spots in the tier list. So, next up we have Inkling. Inkling, again, not good. I am not good against Inklings. I'll put it minus, I almost want to put it -2. I think this is, I'll put it -1. This is one of Kirby's worst matchups. Probably it's like second or third worst matchup, something like that. Kirby does not do well against Inkling. In the air, Inkling wins a lot of stuff. Roller, I mean, Roller's not like a broken move or anything, but when it hits against Kirby, it kills so early. Even if you're mashing out as hard as you can, like at 80+%, you're dead. And while Inkling's recovery is not like amazing, it can just be pretty hard to beat, especially if the Inkling is good at teching. If you're trying to like do a nair or bear when they're trying to get back to the ledge, you basically have to hit down air, and down air doesn't send them far enough down until like 120% for them not to make it back. So really, it's just not great. They can kind of camp you with ink and everything like that. When you get the power, it's not even that much more in your favor, so Inkling is not good. Then we have Palutena. Now, Palutena, I'm gonna go with the first even. Kirby loses this. Not too badly, though. It's not the worst matchup. That was something that I kind of had to learn the matchup a little bit. Like, day 1 of Smash, it felt like Palutena was broken, but it just, because the side B, I didn't know how to deal with it. And, yeah, it's really not horrible. Once you get in, you're much better than Palutena is, like, super close range. You do get kind of beat out by a lot of her aerials. Again, that's another kind of grounded one. You're probably going to be looking for a decent amount of grabs in the matchup, and you don't combo Palutena too hard. But it's definitely better than the 3 below it, and it's definitely worse than the 6 or so above it. So, it's even. It's about as even comparatively as you're going to get. So I'm definitely going to have to stop there. I know this has actually went a lot longer than I thought. So I know this kind of looks weird and makes it look like Kirby has a ton of winning matchups, but in theory, they should all end up being even when it's all said and done. Like, it should average out to around 0. So if you skip to this part in the video, make sure to go back and watch my explanation of why the matchup chart is like this. I know it took a while. Next time, I'm probably going to be going a lot faster because I won't have to be explaining absolutely everything. But this is a start. This is basically the top tiers and how Kirby does against them comparatively to Kirby's spot on the tier list. So, basically, this should be a lot more helpful than just seeing a normal matchup chart, because if the normal matchup chart was here, everyone would just be shifted downwards a little bit. And while that could be sort of useful because you could just in your head bump them up and down a little bit, this is basically just a little less depressing. So a Kirby main can look at this and go, oh, okay, so I'm playing against a wolf, so it shouldn't be too bad. Not going to say you're just going to absolutely destroy your wolves or Olimars in your region, but you shouldn't have a huge excuse if you do lose. If you're playing against a snake and you lose, you have the excuse. So, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you thought about this setup. I know it's a little bit different, and I know it's a different type of matchup chart, but I gave it a lot of thought, and I think this actually would be a lot better of a way to express my opinions on Kirby's matchups. If you want a whole separate video on why I think that's so much better, I definitely would want to make one of those, because I think that if people started doing this a little bit more, we'd have a lot better ideas of matchups, and matchup charts would be so much more useful. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stick around for part 2 and maybe even part 3 and 4. I don't know exactly how long the rest of the videos will take to make, but thank you guys for watching. Peace.